Hello and welcome to this episode of Sabbath Worship with Ben. Hope you all enjoy it, and as usual, have a lesson and a presentation. Hope you all will have a blessed Sabbath. I'm going to be doing my lesson. This lesson is entitled Appearance versus Reality. The story is about John, who was the prophet during Jesus' time and baptized Jesus, and King Herod, different one who had tried to kill Jesus as a baby, but related, had ended up marrying a person who was already married, and John spoke openly against this as improper, and the person he married, very unhappy about John's criticism, ordered husband to lock him up, and he did so. And so John sat in prison knowing what was going to happen to him. And in prison he started to, if not doubt, then to wonder about whether or not all that he had been saying was true. He wanted reconfirmation, so he sent his disciples to go and speak to Jesus when they visited him in prison to ask if he truly was the Messiah. So they went to see Jesus and they asked him John's question. And Jesus didn't answer. Not wanting to be rude, they waited the whole day for him to answer. And Jesus was healing people that day, visiting them, helping them. And they saw miracle after miracle that Jesus performed. So finally, at the end of the day, after they had seen all the miracles, they re-asked Jesus their question. So Jesus told them to go and to tell John all that they had seen. So they went back and reported to John, and John was reassured that Jesus was truly the Son of God. He had the faith. His faith was restored. But unfortunately, the daughter of Herod's new wife would put on a dance for the king, and he offered her anything she wanted in the kingdom. And her mother influenced her to ask for the head of John on a plate. So even though he didn't really want to kill John, he did so. So the story of John from the beginning is a reminder for us as Christians that our job is to witness to others, as John did, to show the faults of others, not to show the faults of others, but to show their errors, to try to help them. But John wasn't perfect, and none of us are. We can only hope to improve through the power of Christ. But when we are doing so, it's important not to put aside or ignore unfaithfulness simply because we feel that we're not in a position to call it out. If we're sincere in our conversion, Jesus has already made us pure. And it's our job to witness to others in the sense that we're showing them what they're doing is wrong. Not in a reprimanding way, but in a loving, kind way. That's what John was doing. He was showing the people that what they're doing was wrong. And sometimes, as John used, it takes hard words. Everything can't be said nicely. Sometimes it has to be said bluntly, rather. So it's important for us to remember that while we're here to help others, sometimes that entails telling them the simple truth, because it can often be a stepping stone to lead them to Christ. The other lesson is that whenever we feel discouraged or faith is weakened, we should always turn to the scripture and turn to Jesus in prayer. And through stories contained in the Bible, through communion with Jesus, we can strengthen our faith to the point where we can once again set out to do the Lord's work. That's our mission as Christians, and that's the lesson for this week. Now I'm going to do my presentation. It's going to be another reminder of some words that Jesus spoke. So, Jesus said that in regard to when the Pharisees were berating him for working on the Sabbath, as they called it. He reminded them that it was legal for people to pull their oxen out of a pit. Almost everyone in those times had some cattle that he owned to help make food and money and such things that they needed. And if it fell in the pit, rather than let it be in anguish there and possibly even die under certain conditions, allowed to take it out if the Sabbath, even if Sabbath was still going on. But it was against the law to help out other people, so Jesus pointed out the mindlessness in this and trying to follow the law exactly. So the two things Jesus was showing is that their attempts to follow the law exactly as it was when closing any loopholes was ridiculous, really. Didn't make any sense, and it wasn't accounting for any sense of rationality. And more importantly, secondly, it was denying other people help, which was what Jesus was doing, so upset at the Pharisees. He was helping others. Jesus wanted to show us by words and example that helping others is a full-time job for us as Christians. There are two objectives: to be united with Christ and to unite others with Christ. So the best way for us to witness to others is to simply be loving and kind, to act as Jesus acted. And anytime, even on the Sabbath, this is appropriate. While it's not appropriate to be working on the Sabbath, if something needs to be done, then then it can be done. It's important to use discretion, but Jesus is showing us that there's nothing wrong with helping out our fellow human beings at any time of the day. In fact, that's our job description, so it's what we're to do as Christians. So let's not ignore others' needs just because of what the law says or what customs or ideas are. Let's always stop to help them. That's the lesson Jesus had for us, and that's it for this week. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all have a blessed Sabbath. See you next time.